Three, two, one, go!
Ek was so besig om dis ek op my seun weet wat ek daar kan wat jy moet maar net ja kan jy altyd so op.
Nice. One minute left.
294, né?
494.
Was that touching?
Nice. Nice. 40 seconds left.
Dit is
30.
Daar. Precies ook gestaan.
Ja. 20. Nice. 10. Nice. Wat het nou gebeur?
So what you just watched, unfortunately, was me zeroing a stage at an NRL match this past weekend. Now, it was quite an important match. I actually flew up for the weekend to go shoot this match. I was shooting really well. I was 1 point down after 4 stages, and then we got to this stage. Now, the specific stage had a KYL rack, know your limits, at 500 meters, 498 meters if memory serves. And basically the shooter had to shoot progressively smaller targets. So your first round is at a bigger target, smallest, move positions, and then re-engage them in that sequence. Now, initially I was pretty blown away. Actually, I still am pretty blown away that I got a 0 on the stage. And that 0 on the stage actually ended up costing me what I do believe would have been a match win. You know, even if I got like a 5 on that stage, which is sort of would have been acceptable for me, I guess, because I'm not really good at shooting tiny targets. Not that they were super tiny. Plenty of guys cleaned the stage for the match. But so I thought I'd put together this little debrief, if you will, on how I ended up dropping 8 shots on one stage, which is, for me as a shooter on my level, completely unacceptable. And really there were a variety of factors that played a role in that, and that's what we're going to be discussing in today's video. First of all, I think for me the biggest mistake I made, I probably underestimated the stage a little bit. So we were shooting down a valley, and we were sort of tucked behind a hillside, and what it does look like on the video is that other shooters are in front of my muzzle, but they're actually way off to the side, and we're sort of shooting in this direction and they're shooting in that direction. So there really wasn't a safety thing. So anyone in the comments that want to say there's people in front of the rifle, it's a bit of an illusion. It's not how it was very safe the way it was set up. Anyway, so I think I underestimated the stage a little bit, in the sense that quite a few guys had gone before me and gotten 7s and 8. And I actually walked up the hill to get a wind read with my Kestrel, like that we're not sort of behind the hill. So I got a true wind reading, at least I thought I did. And I think what ends up happening is I can't remember exactly what my first wind call was. I think it was 0.5. And I do believe that the targets were spaced in such a way that if I held so much wind that I wouldn't have hit the next plate. So I was shooting in between the plates. That's what I'm assuming happened. Actually, next time, if it allows, I will set up a spotting scope on a stage like this. If there's a single target, that we can get some nice vapor trails. I've actually gotten my spotting scope system with the scope cam thing set up again, so we'll be able to do that going forward, which is very exciting. So, but obviously we're flying to the match and everything. That wasn't really an option this weekend to take all of that extra kit with. The other thing that definitely played a role here was the vegetation behind the target. There was quite a bit of tall grass behind it, so the bullets were just zipping into the grass and basically not giving us any feedback. Okay, so feedback would be considered dust kicking up behind it, and you can make a correction based on where you see that miss. So basically my first 2 shots I shoot, I have no feedback, and immediately I'm doubting my bullet drop because I'm not seeing anything. So it's the first time I've done this, but on the clock, I pull out my Kestrel and I double check the distance. Now, even though I asked, like, is it 294, my dyslexia, I completely juggled the numbers, but I actually did have 498 meters and I dialed 2.5, so my elevation should have been spot on, and I do think was spot on. Because the next stage we had like a really long range stage and I got 7 out of 8 on that. So my elevation was spot on. So I didn't see where I was missing due to the grass. And after I checked my ballistic solver, I trusted that my bullet drop was right. And I just tried 2 more wind holds on the smaller and the smallest targets of the last 2 targets. Then I had to move positions, and immediately you'll see as I take shot number 5, okay, so now I'm starting again on the bigger plate of the lot, I decide to hold straight in the middle of this plate. As I shoot, I see some feedback for the first time, so it takes me 5 shots to see something, and I see that I hit high, okay? Now I don't know 100% for sure if this is the case, but what happens is, after every stage, I take my empty brass and I put them back into my little brass pouch, and I noticed that one of my 8 cases that I fired on that stage, something must have gone a little bit haywire in the reloading process, and I blew out a primer completely. Now I actually have that case in my hand over here, and you can see that the primer is completely gone, okay? So I think, I don't know for sure, as I said, that this might have been shot number 5, okay, that was a little bit hot, and it zipped over the target, because immediately when I saw that, I took 3 clicks off of my dope and I start re-engaging the others. So immediately now I'm doubting my dope and I start taking elevation off and I'm doubting my equipment, and I drop the other 3 shots too. So I end up going from 1 down after 4 stages in to 9 down after 5 stages. And I end up losing the match, or I don't end up losing the match, I end up getting 3rd. I tied for 2nd, but also had a little bit of a feeding issue on the tiebreaker stage, so I got bumped to 3rd. But yeah, it was a little bit discouraging, to be honest. The biggest thing for me there was to consolidate and not dwell too much on that stage, and then trust my gear going into the next stage, where I got a 7 out of 8, and I think on the next one after that I also got a 7 out of 8 and then cleaned the last one again. So all in, I think I shot well, but this specific stage, it's sort of a number of things that caused me to walk away with the 0. What I do think happened, as I said in the beginning, I think I held too much wind on the very first one, and I should actually have held, like, not left the plate, and that would have given me a really good indication of what the wind is doing, because I would have been able to see how that plate moved, because I don't think the wind would have been strong enough to blow me off the other side of the plate. So in hindsight, being 2020 as we know, that would have been the move. So I hope you guys can learn from my mistakes. As I said, it would have been really cool to have some spotting scope footage for you guys. There are some other things I also noticed I did wrong this weekend, but I'm going to do a complete separate video sort of breaking down my mindset going into this match, during this match, and after this match in a separate video, so make sure you guys are subscribed for that. The rifle in question, I was shooting my 6 Dasher you see behind me in the MDT ACC. It was shooting lights out for the most part. As always, I'm the weakest link in that system. Guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I hope you don't ever 0 a stage, but it's probably inevitable. And I really hope this was the last time that I 0'd a stage. I'm certainly going to try a little bit harder next time. But, you know, if you've ever shot a match, once the time pressure comes on, yeah, things tend to get a little bit overloaded. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will chat with you in the next video. Bye.